Good morning, Farm Sim fans, and welcome back to Derriere Farms. Today is Tuesday, April the 19th, which means we have three big pieces of news to talk about. The first item on the agenda is Precision Farming 22, the free DLC from Giants, John Deere, and various other institutions in Europe. It is now available on ModHub for download, and we will be doing separate videos on that as it's very detailed. The videos will be basically how to get the most, how precision farming works, and how to get the most out of it. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you get notified when the videos drop, because it is fairly complicated. The next two items on the agenda, and you can't run precision farming without these, is patch 1.4 has also been released today, as has the free content update number 3. We'll go over the changes in patch 1.4 at the end of the video, but first we'll go over what's included in the free content update. Normally I do separate videos, but since there's not a lot for each, I will just leave it at one. First up, we have the Class Zerion 5000-4500. So obviously a new articulated tractor from Class. It was in the previous game. Don't know why it didn't make its way into this game yet, but here it is. It comes standard with 480 horsepower, variable CVT, 930 liters of fuel, will travel at 31 miles an hour, and weighs 16.4 tons. And it'll set you back roughly $410,000, base model. Wheel setup, we have Trelleborg, we have Class, which gives you the tracks, Vertstein, BKT, Midas, Continental, Michelin, and back to Trelleborg. Let's go to BKT, as I like those the most. So wheel setups, I'm not going to go through everything, but excuse me. Got the standard. We've got duals, and I guess VC twin wheels means it's got weights. And back to standard. Oh, okay, nothing special there. So, yeah, essentially you have single or dual wheels or a track. Those are your options. You also have an EU or a US design. I kind of like the US design better, but that's just me. You can add additional weights to it. 3,000, 2,600, 2,200, 1,400 kilograms, 1,000, 600, 200, and back to just the standard weight of the tractor. Attach a type. You can have a 3-point. $3,400 kilogram front weight, which when you tie in with the additional weights gives you quite a bit of traction. And that goes all the way down to 1,800 from you, or yeah, or you can have the 3-point at the front. I thought the 3-point was referring to the rear, but no, it's the front. And the engine setup is obviously either 480 horsepower for the 4500, And for the 5,000, it is 530 horsepower. So those are the options on the class. Next up, we have a new forklift from Heinrich. I believe I'm probably butchering the name of the company, but it is 24 horsepower, has a variable CVT transmission, is electricity powered, and has a charge of 22 kilowatts, and will travel at 8 miles an hour. There are no options to this, and it will only set you back $39,500. So if you're looking for a small, and I mean very small, forklift to work in tight spaces, this is the one. Alright, next up we have a new brand added to the game, and most of what's added will be suitable for vineyards and orchards. This company is Sarlec. Sarlec, I'm not quite sure again. They make small implements for orchards and vineyards. Around the house, if you've got one of those big, big houses, or even a small hobby farm with a couple of horses, these instruments are perfect for that sort of thing. The first one is a mulcher. I'm not going to bring each one up because there are really no variations to it. Requires 12 horsepower to pull, weighs 140 kilograms, has a 1 meter working width, and travels at 7 miles per hour. Next up, we have the ANS 1900 trailer, which is $3,500. It'll hold 1.6 cubic meters of pretty much all the crop types and food types listed here. It does have the option to switch between a trailer and this type of trailer or a bale trailer. I'll quickly show you what I mean, since I'm not very good at explaining things today. Actually, I'm having kind of a rough day. The dog woke me up at 4 o'clock this morning, and I wasn't able to get back to sleep, so my brain isn't functioning 100% yet. The coffee's still kicking in. Okay, next up, we have the Sarlec cultivator, or subsoiler. Requires 10 horsepower to work, has a 1.2 meter working width, and travels at 7 miles an hour. Next up, we have the Sarlec TB100, which is a disc harrow for shallow cultivation of fields. It costs you $1,800, requires 12 horsepower to pull, has a 1 meter working width, and travels 11 miles an hour. See what I mean about the implements being small enough that they can be used around the house if you have a big house with a big property that needs to be maintained. And finally, we have the Sarlec PN2300, which will cost you $1,250, and it is a plow. Requires 12 horsepower to work, has a 0.5 working width, and travels at 7 miles an hour. Now, I think the reason we got these items free in the game was because a lot of people complained about the Anthony Ferraro Tractor Pack DLC, and the fact that there were no implements to come with it. A lot of people said I would have much rather, or I would have if they didn't purchase it. they would have probably purchased it if it came with equipment to use in your vineyards. So I think that's why Salak has been introduced into the game. Salak also produced tractors very similar to the Antonio Carrero pack, which is why I think we don't see any of the Salak tractors in the game. All right, now on to patch 1.4. Okay, so the first item is a new addition. Apparently they've added a tour page to the in-game menu, including the latest instructions. A page to me would mean that it has its own section, and I can't find it. So, wherever it is, great. Next up, these are the game fixes, and they have fixed the server browser filter, allow crossplay not being saved. So that'll be good for multiplayer. Fixed a rare issue when joining password protected servers. Again, multiplayer. Fixed driving direction icons on various vehicles. Fixed combine headers tilted after AI has finished its job. That's a good one, because I am sick of looking at a combine header that sits at 45 degrees when the combine is parked and idle. Fix unowned production points not consuming their inputs over time. So, I guess the problem there was, and some people had found it, was they'd get a contract to take grain to the grain mill. They didn't own the grain mill. The grain mill has a limited capacity, unlike the other selling points, as you know, if you're familiar with productions. And it wasn't consuming it, so it would fill up and you'd be stuck. So that's a good one. Fixed reusing fertilizer effects with smaller working widths. Okay. Fixed front hubs on class Lexion 8900. Fixed slurry effects on Bomec Multi 4XL. Cool. Added missing connection hoses to the John Deere 1775 NT planter. Fixed AI starting to work while tool is not fully unfolded on the Trefla TS, the weeder. Improved working on uneven terrain with the Kokerling vector. I butchered that one. Improving axle rim alignment on Steyr 8150. Improved driving behavior of Bachmann Big Master Lizard pickup when trailer is fully loaded. Okay, that's good. Improved lower distance to the ground on levelers to reach the ground when weights are attached on the rear hydraulics. So I guess having a weight attached to the rear hydraulics, I never encountered this bug, but it meant that a leveler wouldn't fully reach the ground. And they replaced the wheels on the John Deere UXV and Mahindra Retriever with new BKT tires. That's also a plus. I'm surprised, actually. Let's bring that up. It's in the cars, I believe. Yeah, so the John Deere Gator. So, yeah, BKT tires standard. No attacher type on the standard model. Now, the interesting thing, and this will tie into precision farming, is and I always found it kind of interesting that they released the base game version, not the precision farming version, but I guess they didn't want to have to release it twice, but they released the base game version with the Starfire receiver, 6000, when that is not a standard feature on the Gator. It is really only used for precision farming. So that just, not a huge deal. It's just something that always kind of surprised me. But they're not charging any more for it, so that's perfect. Alright, so that is the free content update and patch 1.4 in a nutshell. Like I said, stay tuned, and later today or tomorrow we will start our look at precision farming. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, give it a like, and as I said, stay tuned for the precision farming DLC videos.